Good morning, Geometry iPad Initiative students. This is Mr. Lane coming again with an algebra review this time over quadratic equations. You can read through the objective the way. Number 5, make sure you find me some examples of those. You can just copy and paste those and send me to them today. Looking for the most interesting one. And I'll try and fit in a secret word also today. So let's get a move on this real quick. Gonna be nice, short, and easy. Real quick lesson here. I'll try and review on a few things though. Here's what the problems are going to look like. We're going to have a triangle that is given to us as isosceles in this one with the two sides here marked congruent. And we're supposed to use this information to solve for x. So notice that we got one side as x squared minus 5x. We got the other side as 6. So the first thing we're going to do is set up our quadratic equation before we even think about solving it. So if these two are marked congruent, that means that they're equal. So all I'm going to do is set x squared minus 5x equals 6. Now for either method that I do, I'm always going to have to move them into standard form, which standard form is ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. So I always got to move it to standard form before I do anything else with it. Now this one, when I move the 6 over, it's going to change from a positive to a negative, so I'm going to have it in standard form with just that one little step. I'm going to have x squared minus 5x, and it's going to be a minus 6 equals 0. Okay, so now I have two different methods that we're going to talk about on this, and we're just going to work this problem, go on both routes. I'm going to go ahead and go the first route with the quadratic formula, which is x is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Just rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? And actually you might watch that video with you know, the song over it on YouTube there that's attached to this lesson, so it might help you remember it a little bit, if but you can always take good notes over it also. So we're going to plug this stuff in. By the way, the secret word of today is basketball. Basketball, first one to send me that secret word will get those 2 points. So continuing on with this, it looks like my a is 1, so I'm just going to write this down real quick. A is equal to 1, my b is equal to negative 5, and my c is equal to negative 6. So now I got to plug those values into the formula. So I got a negative b, so I'm going to have a negative negative 5, so I'm just going to write a 5 down there, plus or minus the square root. I'm going to have negative 5, but I've got to square that, so it's going to change to a positive 25, minus my 4 times my 1 times my negative 6, all over, and then I'm going to have 2 times my a, which is 1. So this is going to be pretty easy to simplify here, I believe. We're going to have that 5 plus or minus. Let's go ahead and simplify in here. A negative times a negative is going to be a positive. So that's 6 times 4, which is 24. 24 plus 25 is the square root of 49. I still have all that over 2. So now I'm going to have 5 plus or minus. Well, hopefully you know that the square root of 49 is 7. So I'm going to have 5 plus 7 divided by 2. I'm going to have 5 minus 7 divided by 2. So I'm going to come up with two answers here. So 5 plus 7 is 12 divided by 2 would be 6. And then 5 minus 7 would be a negative 2. Negative 2 divided by 2 would be a negative 1. Okay, so I got to try both of these in here real quick. Just to make sure that this side will equal 6 and I have the right answers. So 6 squared is 36, minus 30 would give me 6, so that one checks out. Now negative 1 squared would be 1, and then negative 1 times a 5 would be a plus 5, which gives me 6, so it works out. So we know that we came up with the right answers from checking it. Now we got another method. And if you know how to factor, this method is probably going to be easier than plugging out the quadratic formula. Let's talk about factoring real quick. All of these, I think the problems that you're going to have is going to be a 1 out front, so that's going to make it easier. If I have two plus signs I'm just going to slap an x in here, plus c. We don't really know what that is. When we go to factor that, both of our signs in our parentheses are going to be a plus. And we know this is always going to be an x and an x. And we know that whatever we multiply to get this adds to get this number in front of the x right here. Now our signs, let's change it up a little bit. Let's go a minus and then a plus. Well, our signs on that situation is going to be two minus signs. So what other possibilities can we have? We can have an x squared plus and then a minus after the x term here. And what I always set those up for would be, I always use the bigger one, or not the bigger one, I always use whatever this sign is right here and use that with the biggest factor when I do factor, which would make this one the minus. When this is a plus, the signs are going to be the same. So notice it's a plus and this is a plus, they're both positive. This is a plus and this is a minus, they're both negative. But when this one is a negative or a minus, then the signs are going to be different. So hopefully you can remember that. Now when I have two minuses, the signs are going to be different and my bigger factor is going to be a negative. So I usually try and write it like this. Takes all doubt, I can write the biggest factors over here every time. So hopefully you have that in your notes. It might help you out a little bit. We're going to try and factor this one, and actually I can probably come right over here and try and factor it. I'll go ahead and knock that one off here. Alright, so when I factor this, I'm going to look at the signs. Looks like I've got a negative here and a negative, so I know that it's going to be a negative and a positive right here. I know this is going to be x and x before I really get going. So now all I'm looking to do is figure out what multiplies to 6. So there'd be 6 and 1 and 3 and 2. Well, I'm going to be subtracting to get the 5. So the 6-1 combo would be what I need to subtract to get 5. So when I set both of these equal to 0, it's going to be one short quick equation to solve. So I'm going to have to minus the 1, so x would equal my negative 1, and I've already checked that answer, and x would equal 6, and I've already checked that answer. Both of these I know work from my check on the other method. So that is all. Hopefully you got the secret word. Make sure you send it to me. Yes, it was in there, so go back, check it out. This is Mr. Lane signing off from OHS High School. Have a good day.